Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jai Hind. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this daily editorial analysis session. So, I hope all of you are doing well. I am very good, and I hope that all of you are also doing quite well. So, how is your preparation going on? Now, you have got experience of more than 10 days of answer writing. I think you have got experience of more than 10 days of answer writing. So, I think things have been improving. I hope that your answer writing skills are improving now. So tell me now this one thing, like when you are writing the answer, we will come to this answer writing part. So tell me this one thing, when you are writing an answer now, how much time you are taking? If you are writing an answer, then what is the time? What is the time which you are taking for writing one answer? You are having the content now, you know the question now, you have revised it now. So how much time you are taking to write the answer? 1 hour? 1 hour is way too long. 15 to 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes, okay? Twenty minutes, 15 minutes. For writing two answers, you are taking 1 hour. Yeah, it means 30 minutes per answer. Okay. So what I see that your time is around 15 to 25 minutes. On an average, 15 to 25 minutes. That is the time which you are taking for writing one answer. Now we are going to do an analysis of it also, that why are you taking the time? So now tell me about this one thing. How much time is for thinking about the answer? Taking pause while writing answer, or slow writing speed. Tell me one thing. Tell me about this one part, that when you have started your answer writing, when you have started your answer writing and you are taking around 20 minutes or 15 minutes. So out of these three, which one is your major factor? कहाँ पे आपको ज़्यादा time लग रहा है? Thinking part, making the strategy for writing answer, or sometimes it may happen that while you are writing answer, you are taking a pause because the ideas are not coming to you. आप सोच नहीं पा रहे हो कि हाँ इसके आगे लिखना क्या है. Major factor is the thinking part, okay? Are you also taking a pause while writing answer? Like this is like before starting answer. This is something which is before starting answer. This is something which is before starting answer. And taking pause, some people think during this time also. So tell me, in which part you are having the gap? In which part you are having the major issue? Thinking part before starting to answer, or taking pause while writing answer यानी starting to think there? इन दोनों में से फर्स्ट पार्ट ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम है या सेकेंड पार्ट ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम है? The second phase or the first part? Which one is more challenging? Both are challenging. First part. First part. So see, if the problem is there on the second phase, what you need to do, if the problem is on the second phase, first you need to transfer it to the first part. If your problem is here, if your problem is in the second phase, you need to transfer that time to the first phase. When you have started to write an answer, when you are there, when you are practicing for the first time, when you are practicing and you are in the early stage, if this one is taking time, it's not a challenge. I don't consider it as a challenge as of now. What I am thinking, like if you are having a pause while writing answer, you need to change this. Think about an answer before starting to write it. Think about everything, that what you will write in introduction, what you will write in main body, what you will write in conclusion. If you want, you can also make a rough answer. You can also make a rough answer or a format of answer, that how you are going to write that answer. And now in the next session, we are going to meet on Monday. We will be meeting on Monday. So what I need, that have a timer for this. Have a timer. That how much time you have taken for thinking. Second thing, how much time you have given for writing. And have you taken any pause? So in the next session, I will be asking you this part, that how much time you are taking for thinking. So when you are writing the answer, try to have a stopwatch or any such thing. एक stopwatch लगा कर रखो. Try to have a stopwatch, that first you will see that while writing an answer, how much time you are taking for thinking. And then second phase should be this, that you have started writing. Try to eliminate this. Try to eliminate this one part. Try to eliminate this part, that you don't have to take a pause while you have started writing the answer. If you have started writing the answer, then you should not be taking the pause. So try to eliminate this one pattern, that have you taken any pause while writing the answer? Try to eliminate that first. Okay. Focus, take your time here. If you are thinking about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's not a problem. Think about it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then what you have to do, once you have thought about the question, then start writing and don't take the pause. So while you are writing the answer next time, like before Monday, today I will give you 2 questions again. So before writing the answer, make a strategy that what you will all write. If you want, you can also make a rough estimate of it, a rough answer also. You can write it somewhere. And once you have started writing, don't deviate from there. Do not do many such improvisation. बहुत ज़्यादा improvisation करने के चक्कर में फिर आपको late होता है. So first think about the answer and then start writing it. So this will tell you exactly that where you are lacking in answer writing. And try to count that even when you have thought about the answer, still, is this factor still present there? Is this factor still present there, taking a pause while writing? So try to divide your answer into 2 parts, first phase and second phase. Eliminate this one phase. Eliminate the intermediate phase. Okay. So next time I will be asking you that how much time you have taken for thinking and writing. Have a stopwatch, calculate it properly. Yeah, I know that right now one of the major problem is you are lacking the content for writing answer. You are lacking the content for writing answer. That is one of the major difficulty. So your problem is not in answer writing as such. It's not that you are not aware how to write. It's not that you are not aware how to write. Okay. The problem starts here that you are lacking the content when you start writing the answer. So do this one part. This thinking is the part of content gathering. Content gathering. और देखो, this is one thing which will automatically reduce after a certain period of time. This is something which will automatically reduce after a certain period of time. Like suppose that if I look at this one question, justice delayed is justice denied. In this context, what should be done to reform the judicial system in India? Now, if I'm looking at this question, we know the format that it has to be intro, it has to be main body, it has to be conclusion. Now, in intro, what we can do? We can simply either give some constitutional provision or we can mention about the pendency of the cases. So we know that here we can mention about the pendency of the cases, that so many cases are pending in India. There are overcrowded prisons in India. Overcrowded prisons in India. Introduction part done. Okay. Then the second part, the question is simply asking what should be done to reform the judicial system. Now, before writing the suggestions, we need to make a flow chart of the existing problems. Flow chart of existing problems. So here we are giving a background. We are not explaining it. We are just having a flow chart explaining what are the challenges in the judicial system. Pendency of cases is there. Then we have this one challenge, that is vacancy of the High Court and Supreme Court and other courts. Then we have lesser adoption of technology. Then we have procedural delay, lack of evidence and investigation. So we have mentioned all these things, that what are the challenges with the judicial system as of now. And then we can suggest the reform. तो ये तो content हमने कल भी देखा था कि what reforms can be there in the judicial system. And then in the conclusion, we can mention about the e-court initiative. We can mention about the e-court initiative and adoption of AI by several courts across India. So this is one thing which we see, that if we have to plan for this answer, if we know the content, अगर हमारे पास content है पहले से, तो then it takes a very lesser amount of time to plan for it. तब इसको plan करने में जो लगने वाला समय है वो कम हो जाता है. And this is not something which will come in 1 day or 2 days. It is something which develops over time. But yes, you have to work on this part, that if you are taking time in thinking, that's not a challenge. But do not take that time in writing. So take your time while thinking about the answer, gathering the content. But once you know it, once you have gathered all the content, then start writing. Do not take the pause while writing the answer. This is my one suggestion for all of you. Okay. So अगला question लिखने से पहले, before writing the next question, try to do this one thing. Think about the question in advance and then start writing the answer. Okay. Okay. Now, so that's why I give you 2 questions per day. I don't give you a overload of questions. Write 7 answers, 10 answers every day. Okay. It's better to first work on that quality. You have to work on that quality. If you have improved it, then at the end of the day, you will find that you have something substantial. So we are discussing a few articles, we are writing a few questions, so that in this time, you are having that quality of the content, you are having quality in your answer. Even if you are writing 2 answers per day, it should be a quality answer. So work on that part. So now let's start. Again, we have this one topic. I think you all may be aware that 131st Amendment Bill. This one bill has failed once again. This one bill, 131st Amendment Bill, has failed once again. It has failed once again. It was not passed by the Lok Sabha. There was a requirement of 2/3 majority. There was a requirement of 2/3 majority, and this was not fulfilled. So last day, this 131st Constitutional Amendment Bill has failed in Lok Sabha. So this bill is now over. In future, government may reintroduce this. Sir, the majority of passing this bill is very high. Then why they did not pass it? Majority of passing this. See, many people have opposed this bill on the ground. Many people have opposed this bill on this ground that it is also having a provision of delimitation, and that too in a haphazard manner. So many people were not happy with the delimitation formula which was added along with this 131st Constitutional Amendment Bill. It was not just related to women reservation. It was not rejected by many of them on the basis of women reservation. It was rejected on this basis that it is also proposing a delimitation formula. Sir, how to collect content and from where? See, if you are reading any topic specifically, then you can do a little bit of Google search on that topic. So do we need to read the article separately? No, you don't need to read the article which is given in the newspaper, but you can read about the topic which is there. Don't read the article, because if there is something in article, I have already explained it to you. If there is something additional you want to know about that topic, then read about the topic as such. उस topic के बारे में पढ़ो rather than reading that editorial. It is like there was a requirement of 2/3 majority. There was a requirement of 2/3 majority because it is a constitutional amendment bill. It is a constitutional amendment bill. There is a requirement of 2/3 majority. So there was a requirement of 322 votes. 322 votes. There were 278 people in favor, 211 people against it. So 2/3 majority was not fulfilled. That's why the bill failed to pass in the Lok Sabha. So now there is this one article. Okay. So let's look at this. Again, this is related to women in politics, society part also, GS paper 1 also. So that is one of the thing. Now let us look what's there in the article. Okay. What we see, the article says that there is a higher participation of women in voting. Males are voting 65.6%, females participation is 65.8%. So if you look at it, it seems that there is only an increase of 0.2%. But what is the trend? That it has been increasing over the past 30-40 years. There is an increasing trend. There is an increasing trend of women voter in last few decades. So there is an increasing trend of women voted in the last few decades. So the participation of women is increasing in case of our Lok Sabha elections also, in case of Vidhan Sabha elections also. So women participation has been increasing in the last 20-30 years. In the last 20-30 years, it has been increasing now. What we also see, in the case of state assemblies, while there is on one side we see that there are more women voters, but in state assembly, only 9% MLA are women. And at the union level, we have around 14 to 15% of MPs as women. Only around 14 to 15% MPs are there as women. Now, at the same time, if we talk about this one angle is never discussed. But let us talk about this one part also. That if we talk about Rajya Sabha, here you will find that we have got around 16 to 17%. we have got around 16 to 17% women in Rajya Sabha. In Rajya Sabha also, there is 16 to 17% of women. So in Rajya Sabha also, where people are not directly involved in election, there also we see that the number of women is on the lower side. It means overall the political environment, this is something which is not favoring the increasing participation of women as representatives. If we see that in union and state assembly, it is the people who are choosing the representatives. But in the Rajya Sabha, it is the political parties. In the Rajya Sabha, it is the political parties who are choosing their representatives. So where even political parties have the, where even the political parties are having the right to choose, they are basically choosing their members. So there also what we see that the participation of women is quite on the lower side. Even in Rajya Sabha, we don't have that much participation. See, there is one part like editorial related MCQs will be too much vague. इस पे MCQs बहुत अच्छा नहीं होगा. So that's why we are not having the MCQs here. Now see here. Why there are there? Okay. Why we are having lesser presentation? So political parties, they continue to nominate very few women candidates than men. What we see that there are very fewer candidates, women candidates than men by the political parties itself. So political parties are not encouraging, the political parties, the political systems of India are not encouraging the participation of women in politics. So that is one of the part. Second thing is, there is also resource intensive election. Election is resource intensive. There is a requirement of huge amount of money. At the same time, there is a requirement of network and social capital. Now, I'm not talking about that everyone, but you may have seen this one thing, that in your area, in your constituency, there may be some leader, and they are trying to develop social capital. They are trying to develop this social capital. Social capital means they are visiting to the people before the election. Of course, before the election, हमें ये देखने को मिलता है कि before the election, they are visiting to people houses. They are going to people houses, they are meeting them, they are standing with them in case of any such challenge. So if they have decided to contest election, अगर उन्होंने election contest करना है, so they start working for it at least 4 or 5 years in advance. They start working on it at least 4 or 5 years in advance. They go and meet people. They try to get their work done. They try to build their social capital. Now, in this part, what we see that women are missing there also. Women are missing there also. Women are not developing that social capital in the society. It may be due to patriarchy, it may be due to their own internal resistance, family pressure, or anything. N number of things can be there. But what we see that women are not developing that social capital in the society. Okay. Women are not building that social capital in the society. So you cannot directly become a leader. You have to work on the grassroots level. You have to work on the grassroots level. So if you are missing it there, then also there is a challenge. So in many of the villages, suppose someone has got elected as Pradhan, Sarpanch or Mukhiya. If a woman has got elected as a Sarpanch, Pradhan or Mukhiya, at least they should be moving in their area. They should be going to people's houses during various celebrations. If they are not meeting the male counterparts, at least they should be meeting the females. So they should be developing the social capital among their group itself. So we see that this is one part which is missing. You cannot directly get an election seat just because, like, just on the name of someone or just because of reservation. If you want to build your capital, you have to be there on the ground. You have to be there on the ground. So this is one of the part which is missing. Okay. So here we see that women are facing the systematic disadvantage. It is because of patriarchy. It is because of family pressure. It is because of their own lack of confidence about going in the field. So this is one of the part. Then cultural norms, safety concerns, they are also discouraging women from entering the political arena. So cultural norms are also there, safety norms are also there. These factors are there which are discouraging the women from entering the politics. So this is one of the crude reality. So this is one part, the internal resistance, the societal norms, the patriarchal norms, the cultural norms, the risk of safety, n number of factors are there. But as a result of this, what we see, there is a lack of active participation of women in politics. Active participation will not directly start from having a MP seat. अगर सीधा MP के सीट पे आप सोचो कि डायरेक्ट MP या MLA बने, it is not possible. You have to work on the ground to be chosen as a leader. One thing is imposing someone as a leader. One thing is getting elected as a leader. So this is one of the challenge which people will have to understand, that we need to have some grassroots change also. But yes, this is a long process. This is something which is quite a long process. And if we want a reform right now, then of course reservation is one of the best option. ये जो process है, the systematic change, this is a very long process. It is a very long process. But if we require an immediate reform, then reservation is the way forward. So what we see, that why reservation is there, it is addressing the structural barriers that are preventing fair representation. It is addressing that structural barrier itself. That now we will see that those structural barriers which are there in form of safety, in form of cultural norms and other things, they will be over. A seat is reserved. So anyway, only a woman is going to be elected from there. Now what we see, that there is a question about this one thing. What about meritocracy? There is always a opposition. There is always a opposition to this part, that in politics or in any other thing, there should be a priority to meritocracy. There is always a debate against reservation. It is always being said that you should go for merit, not for reservation. But in case of politics, we see that there are other factors which determine the political career of the people. In India, we have seen that there is a dynasty policy, there is a dynasty politics, there is nepotism in politics. We are already having several dynasty politics. Many people have emerged as leaders, become leaders, even if they have no such background, even if they have no such knowledge, and still they have become politicians just because of nepotism, favoritism, or dynastic politics. So we have many families where the entire family is getting involved in politics. So meritocracy is not the only thing which goes on in Indian election. So what we see that, so it is shaped by privilege and network as by competence. So in India, it is by the privilege of belonging to a family which is there in the politics. So it's not that the women reservation is just the only challenge to meritocracy. It is not the only challenge to meritocracy. There are many other structural challenges to meritocracy. So if other challenges are there, why not extend reservation? So this is also one of the part. Now, at the same time, we have seen some success stories also. We have seen that at the local level, at the local self-government level, we have seen that they have participated And they have also shifted policy priorities towards health, education, water, and sanitation. There has been somewhat shift to health, education, water, and sanitation. But this is something which is debatable. If we look at India's health index, education index, sanitation index, this is something which is debatable, that how much success we have achieved here. If we look at the primary healthcare in India, if we look at the education system in India, the government education, if we look at the water supply across the country, then this is something which is slightly questionable. Then we also see that gender inclusive governance, it can lead to equitable policies, improved social indicators, sustainable growth, etc., etc. So why this is desirable, that is something which we know about. We know how and why it is desirable. We know the constraints also. But at present, in the 2029, this is not possible, as it seems that the current bill has been defeated. There is a chance that by 2034, we are going to have this women reservation. So this has already been passed by the parliament. The only thing is, when the parliament passed it, they have set the timeline to roughly around 2034 election, because the census will be there, then delimitation will be there. One of the major challenges is delimitation. One of the major challenges, it has been linked with delimitation. This women reservation has been linked with the delimitation, and this is the one of the major challenge. If the political party agrees that in the existing seats itself we are going to give reservation, then it can be passed today itself. If the political parties agree that in the present system where we are having 550 seats, we are going to extend the reservation for women from the next Lok Sabha, we are delinking it with delimitation. Everyone will agree and it will be enforced today itself. But the challenge is that it is linked with delimitation, which is a controversial issue, and solving it is quite challenging part, especially in the present context. It is quite challenging. So this is one of the challenge of women reservation. I think on the basis of this, you can write this: India's democratic journey has been remarkable, but it remains incomplete. Analyze this in context of women representation in politics. Okay. So this is one of the question. India's democratic journey has been remarkable, but it remains incomplete. Analyze this in context of women representation in politics. Nay, Kumar Shamu, we are having this for answer writing and editorial analysis. We are not having it for prelims. और अभी आप प्रीलिम्स की तैयारी कर रहे हो ना, तो जस्ट फोकस ऑन द प्रीवियस टॉपिक विच यू हैव ऑलरेडी रेड. अब पुराने टॉपिक्स पढ़ो, नए टॉपिक्स नहीं पढ़ो. Now, coming to the second topic. Okay, you have come to Patna for giving open mock test. All the best. So now here we are having this second article, that this war, West Asia conflict, what is the recent development? There has been an announcement. What announcement is there? War is over. Strait of Hormuz this is open now, and Iran agreed to denuclearize. Iran has agreed for denuclearization. Okay. That they will not be developing the nuclear weapons. This is an announcement which has come up. Okay. This is an announcement which has come up that what has happened in West Asia. So now we are going to evaluate. This war is over. So who is the winner? Who is the winner and who is the loser? So let us have a look at this, that who has won this war. The aggressive strategy of Donald Trump, it has backfired. The aggressive strategy of Donald Trump, it has backfired. There has been no such result. There is an inflation in US. So there is a domestic political cost. In US also there is a rising inflation. US is also having a rising inflation. The people there are not happy with the war. The prices of oil has been increasing in US also. Then we see that there can be a possible electoral consequences also. The Republican Party in US may suffer a defeat in the upcoming terms. So what we see that it has not been going well for United States. Not internationally, not domestically. So at domestic front also, they are getting hurt. At international front also, US has lost its credibility. US has lost its credibility at international forums. US has lost its credibility in the domestic forum also. So dual loss for US. Now, if we talk about Iran, there has been military and infrastructure damage. There will be a massive reconstruction cost. It will be in billions. And there is only a symbolic resistance, but there is no such real advantage. One thing is, Iran has at least got this one gain where they have got a symbolic resistance. There they have got a symbolic resistance. So they have got somewhat betterment in terms of the power in West Asia. They have become somewhat powerful in West Asia. So that is one of the benefit for Iran, that somewhat benefit it has got, at least symbolically. Symbolically, it has emerged as a powerful country. Now the third part, Israel. Israel has been in the war for almost 2 years now. It started with the Hamas conflict and now it has gone to its peak by attack on Iran. Now in this long conflict, what Israel has gained? The gain is nothing. It wanted to eliminate the risk from Iran. It wanted to eliminate the risk from Iran. But this risk has not been eliminated. Iran remains the same. So what we see that the core objective, which was neutralizing the Iran threat, it remains unmet. So throughout this one thing, we see that are there any winners? Are there any winners? Do we have any country out of US, Iran or Israel which has won this war? This war has not been won by any of them. All of them have suffered losses. US has suffered loss, Israel has suffered loss, Iran has suffered loss. But there is one country which has emerged as a winner here. The winner, it is China. Now you may ask this, how China is a winner? How China is a winner in this case? No active involvement in conflict. There has been no active involvement in conflict. There has been no active involvement in conflict, but proxy Iran. Iran has acted as the proxy of China in this case. Iran has acted as the proxy of China in this case. Iran has been helped by China. Second thing, negotiation. Do you really think that Pakistan can do this alone? Do you really think that Pakistan can do this negotiation alone without the support of China? Okay. Without the support of China, is it possible for Pakistan to negotiate the conflict? So here also, Pakistan was basically a proxy of China. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. China has forced US. China has forced US to announce ceasefire in Lebanon. Okay, just see this one thing. They have forced it to have a ceasefire in Lebanon. They have ensured that there is a ceasefire in Lebanon also. It was not possible by Iran. It was not possible by Pakistan. If there is a ceasefire in Lebanon, it is not because of Iran or Pakistan. It is because of involvement of China. It is because of involvement of China. So even the Lebanon part, it was there because of China. Now, there has been a damage in West Asia. There has been a damage in West Asia. Reconstruction. Who will be doing this? Who will be doing this reconstruction thing? There has been a huge damage in West Asia. Infrastructure damage and other things have been there. So who will be working there? China? Then again, reputation of US. Reputation of US. It has been damaged. US was positioning itself as a strong power in South China Sea. Think about this. This one war has a major impact on the geopolitics. US was positioning itself as a strong power in the South China Sea. It was positioning itself as a superpower in Indo-Pacific region. In the Indo-Pacific region. So now, how any country will depend on US for security in South China Sea? How they will depend on US for security in Indo-Pacific region? Even the NATO is in a fragile mode right now. Even the NATO is in a fragile mode right now. We see that NATO, it is like in such an area where it is about to be dissolved, or it will be without US. Then we see that South China Sea countries, earlier they were thinking that US and others will help them, but they now know that US itself is not so much powerful now. The entire Indo-Pacific, where they were trying to create Quad and all, now that focus on Quad and everything, it is already gone. So what has happened here? China has made sure that now they are not just equal power to US. They are above US now. China has proved this, that they are above US now. They can control across the world now. So here you can see that all those countries which were thinking that Hong Kong, Taiwan or others, they were thinking that US might be helping them. Now they know US doesn't have that much power. So this is one of the part. We have seen that US has lost its relevance. And see, this is not the first time. Britain has also lost its relevance in the West Asia in past. See, you may be aware about the Suez Canal crisis. The Suez Canal crisis of 1905. This was the time when Britain lost its relevance. When the Britain lost its relevance. So in same manner, US has lost its importance or significance because of this West Asia crisis. So that is one of the part where again we see that there is a systematic rise of China. Thus, also there is one very important part. There is also a very important part, a difference between Ukraine war and Iran war. There is a difference between Ukraine and Iran war. What we see that in Ukraine war, it was something which was economically manageable. Russian oil was still moving, Ukrainian grain export continued. So Russia-Ukraine war is going on for last 3 to 4 years because it is not hampering the economy. The economy is still going on. But in the case of Iran, there is a control over a Strait of Hormuz and there is a global economic shock. So what we see that the economic pressure was so high that this war was not manageable for a longer period of time. The economic pressure was so much high that this war was not manageable at all. So what we see that this economic choke points, they are mattering more than the military strength. So here the economy, the geo-economy matters more than the geopolitics or the military strength in the present times. So war in the present times is no longer determined by ideology or military strength. It is determined by economy. So that will be the second question also which you have to practice. Okay. The second, modern conflicts are decided by geoeconomics, not geopolitics. Comment. Okay. So the modern conflicts are decided by geoeconomics, not geopolitics. Comment on this. So this is one of the part which you have to write. It is not decided only by the geopolitics now. Now the geoeconomics is prevailing over the geopolitics. So I hope that's clear. China will give loan also. China will use that loan money to reconstruct that part in West Asia. So pehle suppose Iran has to build something. So Iran will be taking loan. That loan will come from where? China. Then Iran will need someone to get that reconstruction done. So reconstruction bhi hona hai. Now who will be doing the reconstruction? Again Chinese company. So the loan from China will be taken by Iran to give money to the Chinese company to do the reconstruction there. तो पैसा भी उनका और उन्हीं को वापस मिलेगा भी. They will also be earning interest on that. So loan also, work also, everything will be there for China. So this is one part where China has become quite much aggressive and powerful in today's world. Now, coming to this third article, there is so many protest which is going on in the country. हर तरफ protest ही protest चल रहा है. How many protest story you have heard? You may have seen that a protest has erupted in parts of Delhi NCR region. In Delhi NCR region, we have seen that there has been protest in Noida. There has been protest in Haryana. There has been protest in other places also. Some portions of Delhi also. And there is one common region. There is a common factor. There is a common factor, that is demand of increasing wages. there has been one common factor, that is demand of this increasing wages. There has been a demand of increasing wages. Now think about this. Just look at this scenario. Just look at this one scenario. Okay. There has been protest by workers. On streets. What we see that it has been somewhat violent also. It has been somewhat violent also. There has been a risk of getting arrested or fired by company. There has been a risk of getting arrested. There has been a risk of firing by the company. So we see that there has been protest by workers in various parts of the country for wage hike, for increase in the wages. What we see that they have come out on the streets. The movement has been somewhat violent also. And what we see that they have also been risking. They have been also risking getting arrested. Now remember one thing, they are not just any person. They are, if we talk about them, these people who are there, they are educated. They are educated. They are aware about their rights. They are aware about their rights and responsibilities. They are aware about their rights and responsibilities. And still, what we see that even after this, still they are on the street. Still they are on the streets. Okay. What we see that still they are on the streets. So it means now it's not manageable. Their conditions have worsened to the level because their conditions have worsened to the level where it is not sustainable for them for survive. Okay. It means this means that it simply means here there is a simple meaning. Their survival is at stake. So if someone knows this part, that they are going to risk everything. If they know that they are going to risk everything, they might get arrested, they might get fired by the company, and still if they are taking the risk of coming on the streets, it means now it's their final call. Now it's their final call. They know that in this situation, they might not be able to survive. They might not be able to survive in this condition. So that's why they have come out on the streets as their final measure. It may not have been sustainable for them to survive in this condition. So why they have come out? Why they have come out? What we see that there is a component, a minimum wage. There is one thing called as a minimum wage. Now this has got two components. One is the basic pay. One is the basic pay and one is the dearness allowance. This is something which adjusts salary due to inflation. So what we see that there is a basic pay plus dearness allowance. This is adjusting the salary due to inflation. So if the factory workers are coming on the streets by risking everything, it means these all is not sufficient enough. It is not sufficient enough. It is something which is not sufficient enough. It is not sufficient enough. Why it is not sufficient enough? Because this basic pay have not increased. This has not increased for many years. This basic pay has not increased for many years. In many parts like Haryana and Noida, this has remained stagnant for more than 10 years. That the basic pay of the workers is not increasing. Only they are given some little bit hike, somewhat change. So what we see that their basic pay is not increasing. They are only getting some dearness allowances according to inflation, but their basic pay is not increasing. So they are basically a subsistence worker. You may have seen this one thing, that there is a subsistence farming. There is a concept of subsistence farming in India. There is a concept of subsistence farming in India. At the same time, there is a concept of subsistence labor in India also. They are working on daily basis. If they lose their job for even one day, they will have nothing to eat. Whatever they are earning, they have to use them. They have to use that for meeting their basic needs. Not even luxury, for meeting their basic needs. That is the subsistence level of income. So they are working day and night. They're working day and night. Companies are becoming like a unicorn. Companies are getting richer and richer. The people who are in the white collar job, or people who are there in that management, they are getting richer and richer day by day, while the workers are on the subsistence level. So there has been no such salary hike. There has been no such increase in the basic pay. That is one of the basic cause why the workers have protested. Why the workers have come out in the protest. Sir, like the government job salary, it should be mandatory. Some reforms in private company. Of course, there should be mandatory. Yeah. So this is one of the part which we see here. Now see, what we see that now there is an underestimation of living cost. They are underestimating the housing cost, especially in metro areas. Rent is often taking 1/3 of workers' income, but the wages accounts only 10% for the, if you look at this, if you are working in corporate, you may see that the housing allowance is only 10%. The housing allowance is only 10% of the salary. But this is like quite an interesting part, that for most of the people, their rent is like 1/3 of their salary, or even more than that. The rent is 1/3 of their salary, or even more than that. Plus then there is a transportation cost. So what we see that there is a gap between the actual cost of living and the wages. The actual cost of living is going higher, while the wages has remained stagnant. The wages has remained stagnant. So this is one of the basic challenge here, that wages has remained stagnant. They has remained at subsistence level. Housing have increased tremendously. So this is one of the challenge which we see here. Now, what we see, first of all, we don't have to see them in isolation. It is not a matter of one place. It is not a matter of one place. It is a spreading across the country. It is spreading across the country. So if one is considering that it is a policy of one company or two companies, they are at fault. The tension among the workers is at the national level. At the basic level, those who are earning 10,000, 20,000, they are not happy at all. They are not happy at all. So we see that there is a rising tension among workers at the basic level. What we also see, there should be a timely resolution of workers' grievances. Some people are just ignoring it. Some people are using force in order to deter it. But they are forgetting about this one thing, that it may lead to a wider discontent. So there is a need to ensure timely resolution. There should be a government plus employer plus workers dialogue. Then there should be a stable industrial relation for long-term economic growth and a scientifically calculated national floor wage which states must exceed. So there should be a minimum wage at national level and a state must be giving more than that wages. States must ensure that the minimum wage should be exceeding that. In India, at any place in India, a basic 20,000 rupees salary, even this much will not be sufficient for many workers. A basic 20,000 salary for a family will not be sufficient. If a family is earning 20,000 rupees per month, it may not be sufficient in any of the metro cities. So again, we need to work on this part, see how these things are going to be modified. The salary comes like the first day of the month and ends within a week. Yes, that's correct. So that will be all. I think you can write the answer. I think you all can write the answer for this one question. ये क्वेश्चन है, India's democratic journey and modern conflict are decided by geoeconomics rather than geopolitics. So I hope that is clear to all of you. Now one request to all of you, do share about this initiative with your co-aspirants, with your classmates, with your co-aspirants, those who are studying with you. Do share this initiative of daily editorial session with all of them so that they can also join. Okay. Thank you so much. Take care and all the best. Thank you.